Welcome back, everyone. It is time for our final regular season event of our first season here in the F1 2019 Reddit League Championship, what will soon be the F1 2020 Championship. But we are headed off to Brazil for the regular season finale, with Nemesis having already clinched the championship a few races ago. But there is still quite a battle for P2 in the championship. Boomtech on 116, MJ Povey on 115, NGP Racer on 110. Fast 6 driver is in P5 on 95 points. Gallimum's P6 on 91, only 3 points ahead of his teammate who took last week's race, Marco Denelson, on 88 points. K3M Rodalos is 20 points back there in P8. Habs fan Nick has 56 points, so 12 points back of K3M. Voki is only 2 points back there, rounding out the top 10. Now, for us, we are sitting in P11, 15 points back of Voki in P10, but only 2 points up on Racer 04. So it is going to take us a podium, really, to move up anywhere forward, but it is very, very possible for us to lose that position. So today, our focus is entirely going to be on racing that Renault of Racer 04. That is going to be our big focus. Onslaught is in P13 after his big finish at USA. That puts him up on 18 points on the season. He picked up 8 full points there, I believe. Or no, picked up 12 points there. Big day for him last week. And then Dayman P14, AWD Turbo Guy P15, and Chuck and Felix the Feline are tied on 8 points down at the bottom. But as we are rolling our way through qualifying, just kind of getting some medium tire running in, seeing if we can maybe improve, put up a better lap time, but just a little bit over the edge there. Invalidates the lap time, and that's going to cost us our ability to have an alternative strategy, or so to speak. We were kind of doing that medium tire run after we did a soft tire banker run, and we weren't particularly aggressive on that first run, and we were really going to attack on the mediums. But here we are, coming out with just a couple of minutes left in the session. We've fallen down to P11, and we are out on the soft tires again for our second official flying lap. Our first attempt at our second flying lap was invalidated on those mediums, as you just saw. But now we're going to see if we can't put up a better time on this set of softs, go even a little quicker, maybe move ourselves up the grid, because we are going to want to find some good track position to work with. There's Felix getting out of the way for us on our flying lap there. Looks like we got somebody off on the grass inside the next couple of corners. We're still pretty much just hovering right around our delta split. Kind of not really improving. It is Onslaught, woof, cutting right across the track there. Put a little bit of a spook into me there, so not my fastest run through that corner, but there's Marco getting out of the way as we hit the last real braking zone of the track, the last big acceleration zone. Now it's all about the line. We get a great exit out of that final corner, so now we're going to hug the left-hand side of the course, make it as short of a path to line as we can possibly get, and we're going to improve by about 2/10, and that's going to put us up into P9, just about a second off now. So we're going to go wide, let Marco, who is starting his flying lap, go through, but we end up finishing P9, so we are going to be starting on that set of used soft tires, and we are going to be probably thinking about going a one-stopper, just like last week in the USA, going long on that medium stint at the end, hopefully not picking up some early wing damage. Marco Denelson puts it on pole for the last race of the season. MJ Povey, Boomtech, Fast 6 driver, K3M Rodalos, Habs fan Nick, Racer 04, Gallimum's 5, then we've got us in P9, Onslaught in P10, Dayman P11, Felix the Feline P12, and Chuck SRQ did not set a time, is in P13. He picked up a DSQ. I think he got stopped on track due to controller issues, and as a result, the game disqualified him. But
lots of cars on the grid today. Make sure you steer clear of any incidents going into turn.
No, Jeff, I was going to plow directly into every car I could see in turn one. So here, underfueling the car pretty significantly. We're going to be able to save basically through the entirety of Sector 2 is what we can do, save fuel-wise there, and not have to worry about it. But now we're going to set ourselves up to go for that long one-stopper. We're going to go soft onto medium. We've been managing to stretch the tire life pretty well in our practice sessions this week, but there's our competition right in front of us. Racer 04, 2 spots ahead. So the lights go out. We get an all right getaway. We're just going to be kind of easing it in as there's some pushing and shoving going around. We're going to let Onslaught go down the inside of us, just kind of easing our way around. NGP Racer, who is normally in the Ferraris, tried to join late. It put him in the Mercedes, but then he was disconnected, so we've got a ghosted AI car going around today. But we've dropped back to P11, but that's all right in my book because we avoided the potential issues because it's a pretty quick turn 1 in Brazil. And now Dayman had a little look, smartly backed out as we hit that very quick right-hander. But now Habs fan Nick in a little bit of trouble. We're just going to try and find a little bit of space to get past him. We're not going to force the issue, though, because our main target is about 3 positions up ahead of us. And if we get some damage battling with Habs fan Nick here, that's only does us problems. It doesn't help us at all. So we've had pretty good pace compared to Racer 04 in practice sessions and in he did just edge us in qualifying, but race pace-wise, I've typically had pretty good pace compared to him. So we are running up some rich fuel mix, maybe trying to have a look on Habs fan Nick for an early move. But you can see already saving some fuel, only 1.3 laps behind on our fuel mixture. But the other thing is I ran it in a very light fuel load because that's going to allow me to run it in lean mixture quite a bit more, which will allow me to conserve tires even more. So I've kind of leaned in the last couple of races on these tire conservation strategies. Basically allows me to have a set of tires that I can push on when I want to without having to drive flat the whole time. If I was running onto the hard tires, I'd probably have to hustle those to get any temperature into them. And as you see, Habs fan Nick a little slow on entry there. We had to kind of check up again, do kind of a double braking. But thus far on the race early on, just kind of holding station, kind of keeping our eyes a couple of spots ahead up track, looking for that black and yellow Renault. He's still about 3 positions up, not quite running away from us just yet. We'll really only have to worry about getting a particular move on and making some more risky overtakes once that gap starts to open up a little bit more. But we've got slipstream on Habs fan Nick. He does not have it on NGP Racer. Where's he going to go? He's going to go inside. He's going outside, so we're going to have a look down the inside. We're going to go nice and late on the brakes. Leave space from around the inside and around the outside of turn 2. But we're able to get that one completed. And since we were just behind him at the DRS detection zone, we're actually going to get some DRS to help fend him off into turn 4. But now that's 1 position up. Now we've got our eyes set ahead on NGP Racer, that ghosted car, which we're not going to have to worry too much about getting past. We will just be able to, as long as we have good pace, drive straight on through him. And there's still Racer 04 just a couple of spots ahead of us in good shape. Unfortunately, Voki wasn't able to make this last race of the season, so it would I could have overtaken him had I gotten myself onto the podium. But that was kind of a tall order considering some of the pace of some of these other guys this week. And really more worried about getting Racer 04. But there you see, driving straight through NGP Racer. We're going to use some more electrical energy, try and close up the gap to Onslaught in front of us. We did get some DRS to help us reduce that gap in there. And hopefully him and Racer 04 are going to start fighting a little bit. We're 1.3 seconds back at this stage. And now we're going to jump ahead to lap 7, coming into the braking zone of turn 12. We should be in a plenty good spot to make a move on Onslaught. You can see on the mini-map in the bottom left there, the yellow dot, that is Racer 04, who's cleared Golly Mooms and Onslaught and has opened up a bit of a gap. But we've got a great run on Onslaught. He covers the inside, so we're going to go around the outside. And we actually have him covered before even hitting the braking zone. So we're going to go ahead and close the door off, take the normal racing line, and not allow him past us there. We're still close enough to Golly Mooms in front to grab that DRS off of him. That's going to keep Onslaught from fighting back at us this time. But you can see as Racer 04 got out there, I kind of had to hurry myself up. But bit of a rear lockup coming into turn 4 there. You see me sawing at the wheel as I power slide my way through there. Not the fastest route around, but I did have to kind of get a hurry up on as I saw Racer 04 starting to open up a bit of a gap over Golly Mooms. But now once I got through Onslaught, you can see that gap is shrinking to Golly as well. So we are able to kind of tone down a little bit, conserve the tires a little bit more, because we do need to stretch these soft tires quite a ways in order to make the one stop on the mediums work. You saw I pushed it out to about lap 16 of 36, so do 16 laps on the softs and do about 20 laps on the mediums. Originally, obviously, we're going to make some adjustments to the plan depending on how the tires perform, but you can see we're having to spend a lot of electrical energy to keep Onslaught behind. We went to the inside and defensive into turn 1 as he had that DRS run on us, as we aren't quite in range of galley moves, but there you go. There's Jeff telling us to go to lap 17 on the medium tires, since the original strategy wouldn't let us put up for a one stop there. It kind of still had a late stop onto softs, but now once Jeff can see just how well we're managing the tires around this track and how well we're going to be able to stretch the softs, the AI is smart enough, at least today, to suggest switching to that one stopper onto the mediums, which is what I had expected to do. You'll see me do quite a bit of short shifting in the traction zones. That's just there to help conserve those rear tires a little bit more. One thing I kind of forgot about during the course of the race that could have helped me out even more was I forgot to turn my differentials, my rear differential setting back down to 50%. Actually, you can see me adjusting it right now. I noticed it. But I had it a little higher in qualifying for traction, but then I had to turn it down. But we're jumping ahead lap 14. BoomTech on a two-stop strategy, grabbing a fresh set of soft tires, and he comes ripping through. So he's not really who we're necessarily racing at this point, so we're going to go ahead and just let him through, grab a little bit of DRS help off of him. We've moved ourselves up into P5 at the moment. But we have stayed out, at this point we've stayed out a fair bit longer than a lot of other cars on track. So we're just kind of wait for the pit strategies to shake out. We're getting close to the halfway point of this race, and I'm about 7/10 of a lap, about 3/4 of a lap under fueled at this stage, so we're pretty well on target. I do need to be a little bit more aggressive at this stage in fuel saving, because I want to make sure that I want to get to the end of the race. Well, not the end of the race, just barely. I want to make sure that I'm in the green over the last few laps, because if I come into a situation where I'm going to want to have that extra rich mix to attack at the end of the race, I want to be able to turn up the engine and not worry about not having enough time to resave and get the fuel back inside of margin. So we're definitely kind of focusing on managing that. And as I said last week in the USA race, the more we manage the fuel and run it in that lean mixture, the longer our tires tend to last as well. But here's MJ Povey, Marco Denelson making their pit stops count. We're still out on our starting tires. We're just coming out between what was the lead battle, Marco Denelson and MJ Povey. So we're going to grab a little bit of slipstream off of Marco, but we're going to lose quite a bit of ground on these old tires to him. Marco Denelson essentially the net leader of the race at this point, even though BoomTech has made a stop and is ahead on track. BoomTech has gone soft onto soft, so he still, by rule, has to make at least one more pit stop and run at least one other type of tire. Whether it's the mediums or the hards is up to him, but if he's doing it, since he is locked into the two-stop, he is absolutely going to be going onto the mediums a little bit later, so it is on him right now to try and grow as much of a gap as he can to Marco Denelson. But we've got MJ Povey, who was P2, kind of fighting with Marco Denelson, coming out behind us, and he's just closing into the DRS range of us. So if he's not able to get past us into turn 4 or turn 1, it's going to cost him some time, because it's technically it's for position. Even though I'm pitting this lap, I do not have blue flags. There's no rule that says I have to get out of the way of him, and I'm just trying to maintain as much pace as I can, because I'm running an offset strategy from the other cars that I'm racing. They've already made their pit stops. Essentially, I'm going for a long overcut on those guys. So, but you see MJ Povey not able to close up with the DRS into turn 4, and is now essentially going to be stuck behind me through sector 2, as my tires are very, very much screaming in pain. The grip has fallen quite a bit off of them at this stage, but that's going to allow me to have more grip at the tail end of the race on the medium tires that I'm finishing on. So it's kind of a trade-off overall, and that's also going to allow me to just continue to manage my tires. But amazingly, through Sector 2, still on PB pace for that lap, but we'll definitely lose it over the final lap. But there's MJ Poe. He's going to get a little free DRS off of us as we move into the pit lane, hit the brakes on this long pit entry, get it slowed all the way down under 50 miles an hour. We're going to crawl our way to our pit box. And there's Habs fan Nick going by on a set of softs. He's either out on his starting tire or is two stopping. K3M goes through on a medium. Racer 04 next up on the hard tire. We'll see here he comes down into turn 1. So he and Gali are going to pass me on track. But I am on the faster tire right now, so it is on me now to race these two guys and chase them down and try and make a move. So getting everything checked out, turned up, and back out on track. Some cold tires run a little wide through turn 4, but not bad. But here we are jumping ahead now, lap 20. So we've gone about 3 laps, and we've already reeled in Racer 04. Gali Mooms has made his way past, but we should be inside DRS range now on our main target of this race. Racer 04, DRS is open, engine turned up to overtake mode. Which way is Racer going to go? He's going outside, we're going to go inside. Use that overspeed, brake nice and late. Teeny bit of a lockup on that front left, but we're able to get through. You can see Boom Tech coming out of the pit lane right now, and we're going to go ahead and use a lot of this electrical energy, especially now as Racer 04 is going to have a fight back at us. We're going to cover the inside, go defensive into turn 4, and make him try and take the long way around, but he is not going to make it. And now we should be able to use our softer, more grippy tires through Sector 2 to kind of open up a bit of a gap to him. Gali Mooms on the medium tire in front is the next target that we're going to be closing up to, but ooh, Boom Tech kind of forcing Racer 04 out of the way. That cost him a big chunk of time, and Boom Tech on very fresh tires, probably going to be able to just mosey right past us. Also been just a darn quick driver all season. Just kind of a middle season run of slumpy races and missed a few races. Took him out of the title hunt from Nemesis. But he is going to have DRS, should be able to get past me quite easily into turn 1. We are going to not give it to him for free. We're going to make him go around the outside here. And he's kind of teleporting, so I back way out of trying to race him side by side. I don't want him teleporting around next to me and causing me problems. I'm going to grab this DRS off the back of him here. But we aren't going to turn anything up. We aren't going to try and make the overtake. He's absolutely quicker than us, so I'm not worried about fighting with him and losing time to Racer 04 behind me. Because Boom Tech will pretty surely clear Gali without too much time spent behind, and we are going to try and stick on the gearbox of Boom Tech and have him help us get kind of towed up to where Gali Mooms is, and maybe we can battle with him for P6 in the race here. This is a track for the most part. You didn't have to worry too much about track limits penalties. Most people were pretty clean around here. Only the Senna S's at the start of the lap. It's the big area where you're going to potentially pick up invalidations and track limits warnings. So we will see, like at the USA, where there was tons of opportunities to pick up track limits warnings and people finishing with 9 and 12 seconds worth of penalties. Probably only see 3, maybe a couple 6s. 6 seconds worth of penalty setups there. But here we are jumping ahead again. Lap 28 now as we are in the DRS range of Gali Mooms 5, who has been pretty good on pace for us. He's a little slowed through the transition from turn 1 to turn 2. And that allows him to get a really good exit off of turn 3 and down the back straight. But here we are, close up. He's going to go defensive to the inside in the braking zone. Ooh, he's kind of squeezed us out. A little bit of contact side by side is going to force us a bit wide, but no harm, no foul, no spin from that one. So we're both alive through that one, but a little cheeky as I tried to go around the outside. He kind of shut the outer door on me before darting into the corner, and now we've got a little bit fresher tires than he does, and as a result have had a little bit better pace. But He's been able to have a good run on the straight lines just to keep me well enough behind. And then through this section, so much dirty air doesn't really allow me to close up easily to the back of him. But here we are. Going to turn up the engine mode again. And this is what I was talking about, saving fuel earlier on to try and have the attack later on. But here we are, rich mix, overtake mode. Where is he going? We're going to try and go down the inside. Ooh, we've gone a little deep. He's kind of backed out, so we're going to get out of the throttle on turn 2. We're going to let him have that position back. We kind of forced him off track there. So we are going to kind of fight him back here, but he got DRS because he was behind us there, and so we're not going to be able to re-attack into turn 4. He's got to go defensive, though, because we were catching a good amount of slipstream, but that's costing us some time to Racer 04 behind. And hopefully we don't have more penalties than Racer. I think at this point I'm carrying a 3-second penalty. I don't properly remember at this stage of the race. I think I finished with 3 seconds worth. I have to check the end of race screen when we get there, but still right on the back side of Golly, trying to find a way past him for P6. There's nobody else really ahead of him. It's really all the race is behind us. It's a pretty big gap to get into the top 5, but Golly moves, you see just the exit he gets off of turn 12 there, and really launches off that corner particularly well. So we see already that we're not really going to catch him. We're way down on electrical power, and ooh, checks up again through turn 2. We have to kind of re-brake, and that allows him to get another good run out of turn 3 and open a bit of a gap. You can see we're spending so much electrical energy trying to catch him that we might just, with only 5 laps left, we might have to save up for a lap or 2 and then just go for a big time Hail Mary, turn everything up to 11. And it'll be one of those where if it works, it has to work. Otherwise, we're pretty much stuck because we're so similar on pace at this stage of the race that I just don't have the lap time differential to pass him yet. He does check up quite a bit more through the transition from turn 1 to turn 2. I might be able to make something happen there. I'd have to maybe sit back. But it does kind of compromise my run into turn 3. It kills my momentum because I have to kind of re-brake into there. But here we are, turned up again. Let's see if we can go for it. We saved a good amount of electrical. Not going to catch him, so everything's down early. Get that extra fuel in, and ooh, there's that little transition checkup again. Just have to get slightly out, and you can see how much that benefits him. He's able to get that car's direction turned over, and we're not going to catch him down into turn 4 here, even with that DRS. Really, there's only 2 real overtaking opportunities around the track right now, is into turn 1 and into turn 4. Unless he makes a mistake through one of these hairpins, it's not going to be a situation that we can kind of just like hang it out around the outside of him. But you can see that yellow dot of Racer 04 is getting closer. So that's also just kind of in the back of my mind, is that no matter what, I can't let Racer get by me. Even if I'm not able to get by Golly Mooms, Racer 04 is the man I'm racing in the championship. He is the one that points matter, and we're far enough up into the top 10. We're both going to score points. It's a matter of if he finishes ahead of me, he's going to outgain me by more than 2 points, and I will lose that position. But here's Golly Mooms going defensive to the inside once again, lap 33, and ooh, he checks up again, a little bit of contact, and it sends him sideways off. It wasn't even a lot of contact, just enough to unsettle that little transitional checkup between turns 1 and 2, and that time we had to outbrake it a couple of times to change our pace. That time I just couldn't make the adjustment quite quick enough, and we got just a little tap into the back of him, and unfortunately that was enough to unsettle him and send him off track. And definitely had to send my apologies there. He just kind of caught me off guard in the transitions. I tried to get a good run. Laps were waning down, and now Racer 04 is on my tail as I have some big wheel spin coming in. So got to kind of settle down for these last 3 laps to defend this position. because Racer 04 is in DRS range right now as we cross the split, only 7/10 off. So now we've got to try and use some of this fuel, use some of this energy to streak our way to the finish. Only about 3 laps left to go to try and take that championship position off him, but he closes up to 3/10. And big, he gets all the way on just the outside of our tire there and nearly is able to get alongside, but managed to battle him off there. So now we're kind of checking behind. We're going to be doing a lot of rear view mirror looking inside, going defensive into turn 4, because I know if he doesn't make the move into turn 4, he's got to settle in. I just need to have enough traction, enough pace down this little chute in order to hold him behind. But once that is good, you can see I flip the, even though we're plus and we're in the green on fuel, you can see me flip it down to that lean mixture in order to save a little bit more fuel. So that way I can be running that rich mix down the main start finish straight every single time. Got about 45% of a battery charge in there, so we've got plenty to work with at this stage. But you can see we're going to come out of turn 12 once we get the traction fully down. Going to flip that up, get that overtake mode enabled.
Less than a second separate you. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 19 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:12.6. They have a time penalty of 3.6.
Okay, so he's got a time penalty of 3 seconds. I think I also have a time penalty of 3 seconds. I either have none or 3. So it is coming down to a race for position on track here. So we're starting the penultimate lap, and you can see I've saved a good amount of fuel, about plus a tenth for a moment there, but we get on the throttle. And now we're going to have to save some battery through this next section because we used a lot of it the last time we went down the main straight. And so we're just going to want to make sure that we have enough. We don't want to be caught with our pants down and out of battery down the main straight, because it does make a pretty significant pace difference having that extra energy stored up. But he can't really make a move through here, so we're going to use that entire section. You see we went from like 12% to 40% by deploying no energy, just saving all of our energy through that sector. Now we are a little bit low on fuel mixture, but he is a little ways back this time, so we might actually be able to hold him off this time through without using up any of that extra energy. But you see, turning up the overtake just for the last little moments to make sure we get to that braking zone just ahead of him. And he's now got a company behind him. I believe that's Habs fan Nick in that light blue Toro Rosso dot. But we're going to keep it in overtake for this section of the final lap. Burn as much of the energy as we can. And now we're going to crank it back down to save for the final stretch. The last big run to the start finish line. You can see we're already down to 6%, so we'll see how much we can save. Marco Denelson comes through to take the race win, makes it 2 on the trot, back-to-back wins. Golly Mooms puts in the fastest lap of the race after having to pit with the damage after our little incident between him and I, that unfortunate racing incident. But he was able to get a new nose on, grab a set of fresh softs, and really put in a cooking lap. It goes into the 10s. Whereas our best lap is a 12 flat. But here we go. Last time down the big straight, we don't have extra fuel really to spend, so it's going to be all down to the battery and the hybrid electric motor to push us down. But he's not quite close enough, and we managed to come across the line. He's actually going to drop behind Habs fan Nick. So we actually had 0 seconds of penalties. He had 3 of his own. And that is going to cement our position in the championship at the end. We're going to stay in P11 just ahead of Racer 04. But then on the podium, we've got Marco Denelson, MJ Povey, and K3M Rodolos picking up on the final race of the season, his first podium of the year, as Boomtech disconnected and had issues with his 2-stopper. Wasn't really going to put him into a competitive position at the end of this race. But that is the final podium of the season. Marco Denelson out front, MJ Povey, K3M, Fast 6 driver, Boomtech coming P5 we were P6. Habs fan Nick goes P7. Racer 04 P8. Onslaught P9. NGP Racer Bot is P10. Dayman P11. Gallymooms P12. Chuck SRQ was in P13. And Felix the Feline in P14. That is going to bring to an end not our final race in F1 2019 before we make the transition. There is, as I mentioned last week, there is going to be an all-star event coming up as well, which now K3M has just gotten himself a guaranteed invite to by making it onto the podium. The details of that race is that we are going to, the main event is going to be at Singapore, so on a nighttime track under the lights. We are going to be in multiplayer cars, so we can have our own custom liveries and show off our own flair for the season. So everybody that has already made a podium is guaranteed to be in that. And then also the way that the remaining last chance qualifiers, we're going to have 2 short track races. We're going to have a 25% race at Bahrain Short and a 25% race at Silverstone Short. And the winner of each of those 2 races will get an entry into the All-Star event, which will be the final event of the F1 2019 season before we pack it up and head over to F1 2020 to start season 2, which will be in a couple of weeks here. It'll be on August 29th, I believe. It's that Saturday will be race number 1 of the brand new season. But I want to thank you guys for joining me over the course of this regular season. Tune in for the All-Star event. Tune in for season 2. And I will catch you guys a little later. Thanks for joining me again, y'all. Peace.